Hello! I was at my local bookstore, walking around, when I saw a book catch my eye. It was very bright, very pink, with a bold title. So I bought it. I took it home with me and I read it. I was telling folks locally about it and they went, "That's a funny thing. Why don't you do a review about it?" And I said, "I think I will." I did, of course, a verbal one to their faces here, but I'm making another review for the internet to look at. In essence, this book is a translation from the boring, dry medical jargon into very easy to digest English. So everyone can read it. It is written by Zoe Mendelson and illustrations in here by Maria Conejo. Very well done. This is going to be in two parts, one bits that I liked and other room for improvement, or stuff I didn't like as much. What I did like about this book is that even though I am a woman and I have all the bits, I thought, you know what, I got this. Let me read it anyway for fun. No, I learnt a lot in here. There is a lot jam-packed in this beautiful, beautiful book. One example is menstruation, specifically the uterus. Yeah, okay. When I was younger, my mother told me, "Oh, you're a woman now. Look, you have your period." Oh, great, Mom. It was painful, and I went, "Does this happen all the time?" And my mom goes, "Yep, once a month, like clockwork." And I went, "Great. Thanks, Mom." And that was the explanation I got. And that's just how it is, because it happened like clockwork, as she said. So, okay, fine. In here, talking about the uterus, I was reading about it, and I found out, or I came to the realization as to why those period pains were so crazy. And it's because your uterus is amazing. It's true. So, the uterus, by weight, is the strongest muscle within the body. Why? Well, if you have a baby, it has to contain the child, and then when it's ready to come out, it has to push. It's the main muscle to push a human out of the body. So it's just revving up every month, and the uterus doesn't distinguish between a baby and an unused egg. It goes, gotta clean it out, let's go. And if you think about the all or nothing muscle principle, like when you do a curl, how it's not just some of the bicep muscle fibers working, no, all of them contract. Okay, not as strong as if you were pulling a heavy weight, but all of them contract to make that movement happen. Same thing with the uterus. It goes, "Okay, guys, let's be gentle." But because it's so strong, it just goes to the best of its ability. It's kind of crazy. So I just thought that was insane. Duh. And this brought it to the forefront of my mind. Amazing. Amazing. Now, another thing I learned, more of a sad realization here, is hormone birth control. It's kind of normal. Yeah, it is. And of course, we know the good side effect is, all right, there's a 99% chance that you won't fall pregnant, and you just keep taking it regularly, whether it be oral, injection, or up inside. But it doesn't really talk about the bad side effects. And in here, the author was trying to look for, okay, let's do some research around, possibly potential bad side effects, potential long-term effects of hormonal birth control. And she didn't find much. And I went, yeah. Because from my experiences, I didn't have much while growing up. And I'm going, there's not much. And it's still kind of, if you're looking for help, it's hushed between you and your doctor. And if you can afford it, multiple visits to the doctor. Or amongst friends and family going, hey, how about this? There's no real research or evidence or proper measurements about what hormonal birth control does to, like, all the good stuff, and also the potentially bad side effects or bad stuff that comes with taking hormonal birth control for an extended period of time. So it's kind of a sad realization that it's a reality. And she has reflected that in here, and I went, oh my goodness. And that's something else I learned. A sad learning, but now it's brought to the forefront of my mind. I can go, you know what? Something comes up for research for women's health. I'm going to be there because I know there's not enough. Now, my room for improvement. What's this? I adore this book because look, come on. Pussy. She says use it. It's a new definition because when you say it, it's kind of cheeky. And the pussy is just the whole area, not just the vagina, not just the clitoris, not just this. It's the whole area. Pussy, which is fun. Let me refer back to the book here. One moment. Because in the beginning, she mentions that. Use pussy. And I'm going, yes, totally, totally fun. But then in the foreword, she says this. As time went on, I learned many more things about my and its cohorts. Just before we established we're going to use this beautiful, fruity, fun word, pussy. And then you use that. You use cunt. You use the advertising slogan, or the unofficial advertising slogan for the Northern Territory, see you in the NT, to refer to something so beautiful, majestic, and a whole lot of fun, in my opinion. It's used as an insult. That word is used as vulgar slang to refer to that whole area. I disagree. Call her pussy and stick with it. Next point. In this book, plenty of research. There's 54 pages at the end dedicated to look at all these references. Just pages of it. Great. So she's done a lot of research. Excellent. But the more I looked, it seemed to be just Europe and mostly North America, some Latin America references, but I went, what about the rest of the world? I expected with something this bold, this crazy, to have something that covered the whole planet. And now thanks to the internet, you can research that all yourself, correct? Right? Yes? So in there, I think she made mention of Arab and Persia and Greek, just observations of the clitoris, but then that was it. And I went, there's TCM medicine, where they, women's health, they were not allowed to look at the ladies, they had to check the pulse. How amazing was that? What about the Kama Sutra? That's a fun text, and that's not mentioned at all in here. And with what's in here, if you read it, you'll see that, there could be a way to work that text into here, which is great. But I found that was missing. With something this bold, let's go worldwide. Come on, let's go worldwide. My next thing is something that I just disagree with from my personal experience on the planet. And I read it in here and I went, I don't think that's right. Chapter 7, I believe it is, where we're talking about hysterectomies. That's a procedure to remove all the uterus, all the lady bits out, just leave it. In here, she put in that 10 to 90% of hysterectomies performed in the US were not needed. I forgot the date. I'll put it in somewhere. Hysterectomy 10 to 90% was not needed. And I'm thinking, wow, how can that is a huge discrepancy. Wow. She goes on later on in the passage to say this, if I can find it. No, I'll just reference here because I wrote it down. Later on in that chapter, she puts this. The patriarchy would be extra controlling over the uterus because the uterus is humanity's way of making more humans, which is needed to control society. This is where I disagree. Because I think that she's getting a medical system issue confused with a societal and a political one. Because doctors are still humans. They make mistakes. And where is it? In 2023, in the USA, I'm referencing back to this because I need to make sure I get this right. 2023 in the USA, there were an estimated 371,000 deaths from misdiagnosis. And then another 424,000 who were disabled from misdiagnosis. That's a big number. And of course, being here, the medical system is, in the USA, the more I observe, it really does seem like the medical system is a business. Unfortunately. Streamlined, efficient, go. So I'm guessing that if a doctor, they've only got a certain time, they've got to meet this quota, they've got to do all this, and they look and go, well, the easiest route there would just be take it all out, and then your problems are solved. They'd fit in that 10 to 90% of, they didn't really need that hysterectomy. And I don't think that's how health should be treated. Not like, quick. You gotta delve more into it, correct? So, the research provided, yes, she provided it, but that evidence is almost irrelevant because it's just inconclusive. So, I don't know why it's in there. And, again, going back to a fact that, this to me sounds like a medical system problem, not a society or a social one. To me. So, my final thoughts on this book. I was very excited to read it. I must admit, I was very excited. I learned a lot. There's stuff in here that I've I've not mentioned here. Masturbation, consent, STI, many other things. But as I kept reading, I was very excited to read it, but as I kept reading, that kind of deflated into a flat pancake at the end. So my review of this is, yes, it's fine. It's fine. It's a very fine, fun read. The images in here are a lot of fun. They're anatomically correct, and they've got some artwork in there that I went, yes. And you can see my little tags in here. So I do like it in here, and I think it's very worthwhile if you want to learn something without the medical jargon. But it's just fun. It's a fine read. A fine, fun read for sure. The Pussypedia. Review done. Done.